We've got some dramatic breaking news in the developing story involving Roger Stone's sentencing, if it happens, and that is that Aaron Zielinski, a Justice Department prosecutor who asked a judge to sentence Roger Stone to between 7 to 9 years in prison, has withdrawn from the former Trump aide's case after reports that officials would seek to reduce the sentencing recommendation. So Aaron Zielinski put that out. We're gonna walk through the timeline later. But then once the DOJ and Trump started to put pressure saying, no, we're not gonna do what federal guidelines say we should, he has backed off. And he was the first. Now the four attorneys who had signed the initial note after all this new pressure have all apparently withdrawn or resigned or been forced out from the case.
So in politics, there's this event known as the Saturday Night Massacre, when Nixon kept firing one person after another after they wouldn't do his political bidding and cover up his case. Now, in the Trump administration, there is no such thing. There is no one with principle. So when, as you'll see in this story, when Trump says, don't follow the law, the Department of Justice says, absolutely, sir, because it's led by the lawless Bill Barr, who should be disbarred as soon as he's out of office. Anyway, we'll tell you all the details of that. In this case, it's kind of like a Tuesday afternoon suicide rather than massacre, because, and I fear putting that kind of context in a political story, but the bottom line is they were not fired. All four of these lawyers actually had principles and said, we are not going to break the law and twist the law and bend the law to benefit Donald Trump politically.
Yeah.
We prosecuted the case, we were right. If you're trying to fix the case afterwards for political reasons, we resign. We're gone. Yeah. That is a wonderful act of courage, bravery, and they should be heartily applauded for that, and eventually one day promoted.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I liked about what you just did there? You used an analogy and then realized that it had bad connotations, so you corrected yourself in real time. Chuck Todd could learn something from that. But anyway, yes, and so look, there's a couple points that I do want to focus on here. So just in case you didn't know, initially, Justice Department prosecutors suggested 7 to 9 years. That's just federal guidelines. I know that if you've watched Sean Hannity's show, he's freaking out over it. They're all acting like this is insane. That's just what you get for the crimes that he committed. He was convicted in November of 7 counts of obstructing and lying to Congress and witness tampering related to his contacts with the Trump campaign regarding WikiLeaks in 2016. The government wrote at the time that such a sentence, 7 to 9 years, would accurately reflect the seriousness of his crimes and promote respect for the law. Because we can't have a functioning system if powerful people are able to obstruct justice, tamper with witnesses, knowing that even if they're charged with something, in the end, the president is going to end up getting them off. They need to pay some sort of price to stop everyone from doing that. But look,
John, sorry to interrupt for a second. I just want to give people context. So 7 to 9 years, the federal guidelines, and I trust their judgment, especially given what they've done afterwards, right? But you could actually get 20 years for witness tampering. So I don't want anybody thinking like, oh, they were throwing the book at him and they were giving him the maximum. No, they came with a moderate proposal within the federal guidelines. And so, of course, since Roger Stone was protecting Donald Trump, that he's his capo, the head mobster complains about it, and that's why these 4 lawyers have resigned. But they were not throwing the book at him. This is what the federal guidelines say is, I don't want to say a minimum, but it's nowhere near the maximum.
Yeah, and even that not maximum was met by a Trump tweet that says, hey, this is horrible and very unfair situation. The real crimes were on the other side, as nothing happens to them. Cannot allow this miscarriage of justice. I've got a different one in mind, and so we don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. It's possible at this point that Donald Trump doesn't really need to get involved beyond tweeting. William Barr knows why he was chosen. He knows why he's there, and so he's going to jump on this sort of thing. But it is also possible that Donald Trump is getting involved. And here's the thing. This whole thing looks insane to rational people. That this guy committed crimes. Because he's not Trump, might actually go to jail, as so many of Trump's closest confidants and associates have. But Trump feels like, well, I mean, I've committed crimes in full open view, and I was just acquitted. I could shoot someone in the face, they wouldn't do anything about it. So why shouldn't he do this, honestly? They pushed out Vindman and his brother, and now he's saying the military should look at disciplinary action against Lieutenant Colonel Vindman as well. Him being fired isn't enough. He also should be attacked by the military. And so remember like during the trial and immediate after, when we were talking about Trump is looking for revenge, all of his associates were saying that. like that wasn't just like speculative talk. Like this is what it looks like. He's going to protect the people that have been good to him, and he's going to viciously attack to the end of their days the people who have turned on him by acknowledging the truth.
So just quick note on Vindman. He technically was not fired. He was removed from the White House. So he could get another job in the Army, but we don't know what's going to develop with that yet. So in terms of this situation, look at the way that Trump frames it. He says, well, they didn't arrest people on the other side. Well, that's not how it works. That you betray your own sense of what so-called justice is when you say, I don't care what the law was. I want you to round up my political enemies, and since you didn't do that, I want you to let go of my capos who are breaking the law on my behalf. No, this isn't like, oh, let's arrest people equally on the Democratic and Republican side. The question is, did they break the law? If a Democrat broke the law, the Young Turks, if you watch it at all, we would definitely be in favor of them going to jail, right? Yeah. We're honest and principled, unlike these guys. Look, now I'm gonna get to the funniest part of all. So, well, you wanna tell them what Bill Barr said to go along with Donald Trump, and then I'll give you the explanation that the Justice Department.
You're talking about the update to the.
Yes.
Okay, so the Justice Department announced that they were going to revise the recommendations for sentencing. Department leadership found the recommendation to be extreme and excessive and disproportionate to Stone's offenses, although as we pointed out, it could have been worse. DOJ leaders expect a new filing to be submitted to clarify the department's position. It'll be an interesting clarification if the number suddenly is much smaller or non-existent.
Yeah.
That's not a clarification, that's just changing it.
So that's why the Justice Department lawyers resigned. Because number one, they just got thrown under a bus. After spending a lot of time on this case and the government's resources and being right and getting a conviction, their own boss turns on them and says, oh, what they did was extreme and terrible, right? And you saw the quote. Not only that, they say now you must reduce the sentence, even though you know it's not the right thing to do, and it's obviously political. So they're like, no, we're not gonna do that. We'd rather not have a job, and we'd rather be driven from government and not do the thing that we love to do, and that's our career, than go along with your political and outrageous order.
Yeah.
So men of character. Now, here's a hilarious part. So the Justice Department sees obviously Trump's tweet, and they're like, yes, sir, of course, sir. We would never punish any of your criminal associates, sir, right? But no, Carrie Kupek, a Justice Department spokeswoman, says the White House did not communicate with the agency on Monday or Tuesday, except for that public tweet to the whole world. Okay.
So it's a miscarriage of justice.
Yeah, okay. No, she says, and that the decision to reverse course was made right before Donald Trump's tweet.
Damn, I thought we had him.
Oh my God, well, hey, look, if he came in right before the tweet, I guess there's nothing we can do about it. It must have been independent. It's preposterous. They went to court, they said he should get 7 to 9 years. They went through the regular process. Trump tweets about it in the middle of the night. Right afterwards, they say, oh, sorry, never mind, rip up the law, who cares? We have a lawless president, let's just make sure that his buddy gets off. And then they go, oh no, we had made that decision independently. If you had made it independently, why did you submit the court papers in the first place? Oops.
Don't miss your chance to win a trip to Los Angeles and have dinner with Cenk, Anna, and me. Just head to tyt.com/dinner in LA to register to win. Sign up for a free Aspiration Spend and Save account, register your eligibility, swipe your Aspiration card on daily purchases to gain entries to win a chance to fly to LA and have dinner with the TYT hosts. Not only are you entering to win that dinner in LA with Cenk and Anna and myself, but you're also able to deposit your hard-earned money without it going towards fossil fuel exploration or production. And as a friendly reminder, even if you already have an Aspiration account, you must still first register to be eligible for the sweepstakes.